the last few months, we've been on a voyage of discovery. Maybe, are you aware of that? Discovery of, anybody know? Okay, I'm going to say it loud and clear. Okay? We are on a voyage of discovery of the abundant gifts of the universe. Like what?
Love.
Love, yeah. Okay, well, that's for sure. Yeah. Joy, yes. Little kids. And the moments of appreciating their beauty. What else?
Knowing each other.
Yeah, knowing each other. The gift of friendship, the gift of support, the gift of connection. What else?
Music.
Music, yes. Vibration. Tonality. That's a gift that we can get lost in our world at the push of a button. But there's something really special about being in the same room with a musician and with live music and with participating in live music. However, we are participating in that particular music movement. Life is vibration. We don't have to pay anything for that. It is abundantly available. We just have to do it, to remember. What else?
The air, the trees, nature.
Nature, yes. And clean air. And the joy of breath. And the beautiful essence of nature, of trees, of plants, of animals. You guys find this beautiful?
Yes.
You feel it's a gift?
Yes.
How often do you remember it's a gift? Okay. The more we do, the more joy we reap. And if you look back over the titles of talks, my talks, over the last few months, I've been giving you a new one every Sunday. So what is it that we're on an adventure enjoying? The abundance of the universe. Not in terms of anything we have to work for or save up for or, put ourselves out for. All we have to do is pick one and remember it and be with it. That's all. The universe is completely abundant in our presence in it. It's right all around us, in us, through us. We are that energy. But only when we are conscious, when we're awakened. Like the Buddha, that's what he said. After all that sitting and contemplating, what was the result? What did he start to teach people?
Compassion.
Okay, compassion.
Awareness.
Awareness. Waking up. Not being asleep anymore. Not being unaware anymore. That's what we're about here, is learning to wake up, learning how we can wake up. And another aspect, which is another divine gift, practicing waking up. You heard that word before? Practicing? How many people love to think about practice. Okay, a few, that's good. It depends what it is you're practicing. I don't know about you, but I took music lessons when I was a kid. My mother really wanted me to learn to play the piano, and so I had to take piano lessons. You already got the picture, right? And that meant I had to practice every day. Now I just did this again. I tried to take guitar lessons a few months ago. Did exactly the same thing. Practice. And I found it quick because I wasn't practicing. And what was the deal? Well, in both cases, and many others in between, I didn't have a picture in my head of what I wanted to sound like. I was just focusing on, I was taking lessons. And I listened to guitar playing. Might have been a good idea, don't you think? No. I took advantage of an opportunity because I was going to be there anyway because Nancy wanted to. So she happened to have an extra guitar, and I went along and I took the extra guitar and I sat in the lessons, and I loved, the teacher's playing. Didn't love my playing. Ugh. And that's how I felt every time I finished practicing. Ugh. I was missing an important component for successful practice. What's the important component that I was missing? Having a vision. Knowing what I wanted out of this. I didn't do it. I had no clue. I have never practiced the guitar. I've played other string instruments. I became a reasonably competent keyboardist as a kid and then as a young adult. And I was able to earn my way through college by being the organist and choir director for my parish church. I wasn't good. I didn't have joy in playing. I enjoyed everything else about it, but the playing, So I have not continued doing it for that reason. And no matter how much I practiced, was I going to get there?
Where was there?
Huh?
The question was, where was there?
Where was there? That is the question. Yes, indeed. I wasn't going to get to a place where it brought me joy because I didn't have the desire. I didn't know what it was for. I've talked to you before about the new book that's come out that compiles the late life teachings of, I'm going to forget his name, Eric Butterworth. Okay, you've all heard his name. In the 1980s, he was filling up venues in New York that seated thousands of people every Sunday. I mean, everybody that I've ever met who had any spiritual interest whatsoever, who was in New York at that time, they went to Eric Butterworth's. Most of them didn't know he was Unity, but they just went because he was such a great teacher. And in that book, he talks about practice and about how we can make it work. And step one is have a vision. Right, he called it creative conceiving, C. And he gave a formula and he said, okay, the secret for successful practice is C, conceiving, creative thinking, plus B equals A. So, in addition to knowing where you want to go, in order to practice successfully, what's the next thing you got to do? B. Practice. Practice, 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 practice. Yes, But you need a couple of other things. It begins with B,
Is
yes.
it believe?
Believe, yes. What does that mean?
Making a conscious decision, practice.
Making conscious decision to practice, and as we're practicing, believing, what? That we're going to get there, that we can't help getting there, knowing that it's going to happen. And most of the time, especially if what we're practicing is spiritual, is prayer, is joy, is awareness, where can we be sure? What do we have to be looking at to believe, to be sure? Where do we have to put our awareness?
The end result?
What?
The end result?
Okay, what kind of end result?
Faith.
Oh, yeah, we're talking about faith, but we're going around in circles because we're saying believing is faith. What does that mean?
Seeing you successful at it.
Huh?
Energy?
Getting closer.
Seeing yourself successful at it?
Pose the question.
You have to picture yourself successful at it, but this all implies that practice has to be hard work, which is the idea that I started out with to begin with, that wasn't very productive. We have to believe
That's easy.
that it's easy, yes, you got it.
To take the steps to get there, all the different things to.
You have to take action, yeah, like the Quakers say, you got to move your feet.
Yeah.
But what else?
That you can do it. That you can do it.
Where? What kind of success? Where is the source of success? Oh, where?
So, source is part of who we are.
Okay, now we're getting close.
Who we are.
Who we are and who are we?
We are
Spirit. And how do we become aware of spirit? What do we need to tune into?
Abundance. The universe.
The universe? Where's the universe?
Our inner selves.
Okay, now we're getting there.
Absolute realm.
Yes. Yeah, there's three right answers. This is Paul Hasselbeck's teaching. You can always say in the absolute realm, that'll be your right answer to anything. You can always say the law of mind action, and that's a right answer to anything. What the heck does that mean? The law of mind action.
What you think about will happen.
What you think about is powerful. Yeah.
When you see it, you'll believe it.
When you believe it, you'll see it. It goes the other way.
That would be the law of mind reaction.
And where is mind?
In spirit.
Yes, it's in the absolute divine realm, where vibration is. Our awareness in vibration. We have to go into total spirit and the divine laws and the perfect abundance, substance, which is like silly putty. We can make anything out of substance as long as we stay in the divine realm. And we don't even actually have to do any hard work. That is so hard to get over, that belief that we mostly all grew up with, that the answer to everything is hard work. If you're killing yourself, you're doing it right. That's not the way it's supposed to be. You think, and you think in the divine dimension. So, I don't know about you, but most of the classes that I've taken all my life and the books that I've read all my life on how to make things happen with your mind, they've all talked about, okay, so you get this idea in your mind and you make lots of pictures of it and you picture it and you practice affirmations. And God knows, I've made, vision boards with fancy vacations on them and houses and lots of money. And that's what I've pictured as it happened. Why not?
Because it was outside.
Because it was external. That's right. I was practicing the wrong things. It's very simple. And the divine law says, in the absolute realm, in the realm of spiritual power, in the realm of God, in us, whatever you want to say, if you think X, you'll experience Y. And that's not a person's law. That is simply how the universe works. It is a universal law. Most of us have experienced that at one time or another. And it's been like, wow, how did that happen? I mean, you know, like the time that 3 or 4 years ago now, we practiced envisioning with Pam Grout's book, and we all asked for a surprise. And what happened for me out of that was instantly my dog, who had her tumor, it was gone, and she was fine. And the same exact thing happened to Reverend Victoria in the same experiment. I mean, that was hilarious. Spirit does have a sense of humor. And I think Dale and Tom's house, which had been on the market for months, sold just like that. And so what were you doing? We weren't specifying a physical result. We were just being in awareness and saying yes. And wonderful things happened. And that was the secret, was that Pam told us not to envision any concrete outcome. Just ask for a surprise. And we did. A wonderful, joyful surprise. And we got them. Yes, that's right. Well, if you think about it, what kind of surprise is Spirit going to give you? All depends what kind of spirit you believe, right? You picture in you. Who do we say Spirit is? There is one presence and one power active in the universe and in our lives. And that principle and that power, we say, is God the good, invincible, all-powerful. Do we really believe that? That takes some work too, is coming to a point where we actually can say that and really believe it, not have any doubts about it. Is anybody there yet? All the time, 100% of the time? I'm not. Sometimes I'm there. More often than I used to be, I'm there. I'm working on it. I'm practicing. And I'm practicing being aware of what I'm looking for, what I want. I want that oneness, that awareness of oneness. Because I know that's where everything happens. Can I remember it all the time? I just had bronchitis and a cough and a sore throat and a cough and a head cold and yada, 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 yada. And finally, after a month, I took antibiotics. Thank God, it all went away. But what was I aware of during that time when I was absolutely not being able to think about Spirit, all perfect Spirit in me, and me, all powerful against, that I don't need to get sick? Do I believe that 100%? Obviously not. And I know that's true. It goes all the way back to when I was 2, and I got pneumonia, and I almost died. And fortunately, about 2 months previously, penicillin had been made available to doctors, and they gave me penicillin. I'm still here. But, yeah, I'm still here, but for months afterwards, for some reason, don't know why, the doctor told my parents I should not be allowed to cough. And for months afterwards, I coughed constantly. So what do I realize now was going on? My father said, "Don't cough," every time there was a little. And so every single minute, all I could think of was, "Don't cough, don't cough, don't cough, don't cough." What was I doing? Yeah, I was turning inside out coughing because that's all I was thinking about, was coughing. The same thing still happens to me today. If I'm in a place where I have to not make any noise, guess what? That cough. I mean, I could not have coughed for a week before, but in that situation, that cough, I can't turn it off. I do the same thing. I got to practice that more. I got to practice more being aware and believing and just letting it happen. And it's a big job. Will I make it before my physical life ends? It's not, what I really need to do when that happens is say, "Oh, well, I'm coughing. I don't need to," and breathe. But it's hard. And we all know, with whatever our own habitual thoughts are, vulnerabilities are, they're hard because we don't get easily to belief in that situation. So we've got conceiving, awareness, spiritual awareness. We've got absolute belief, which we can only get by practicing. Because to overcome a physical belief, you can't just say, "Okay, turn it off." You gotta practice, and you gotta practice being in the divine awareness and letting go. If you don't practice the right thing, you don't get the right result. When I was in California, I took Tai Chi. And then when I moved and I didn't have the teacher anymore every day, I practiced. And guess what? Every week I injured myself some other way. And then I'd go back and see the teacher. And she'd say, "Oh, well, you really need to do it this way." And so I kept forgetting the whole thing. I needed help. I needed help from others. I needed people to support me and show me and remind me and model it for me. And so I finally had to quit because I moved away from California and couldn't find a teacher every day that I could go and just practice with a group. But that's one of the reasons you see Tai Chi people practicing in a group. It's a really complex set of steps to remember, and you do anything not quite the way that works, and you get the opposite result, and you don't know why. So the third thing is both knowing where you are in spirit, believing that in spirit, whatever we affirm, whatever we see, whatever we practice, happens energetically. We don't need to kill ourselves doing what we want to do. This is the easy way. The complex, challenging, easy way. And the result is achievement. C plus B equals A. That's Butterworth's formula. Or practice, or effective practice. So it really is logically simple, but we need help along the way and opportunities to practice and the will to practice and the awareness of what we're aiming for where we're going. And the place we have power is in expressing spirit in us. We do not have power in the physical realm. I do not have the physical power to turn off a cough. To turn off a cough, as an example. I just don't have it. Nobody does. I have to go within. So what kinds of things does it make sense to practice together? I'd like to make a suggestion. One that bothers me a lot is all the confusion and the unkindness, thank you for that concept, that takes place in our civic experience, especially over the last couple of years, right? Where do we need to go to be able to make a difference? Within, to spirit, to the awareness of divine law that you think, you believe, and spirit's power makes it happen. That's the only way that we can make that happen, to make peace happen, to make greater harmony happen. And you look at it in the physical world and you think, that's not doing anything, right? Have you done that? And thought, I can't make a difference. Yes, you can. As long as you're practicing with that vision in divine awareness and allowing yourself to experience it in yourself, and therefore other people experience it through you. Butterworth also said, God doesn't do anything for us. God only does things through us that we allow. And so practice is practice allowing. And there's a translation process because as humans, we're very aware of what's not going right. And we can talk about that for a long time and reinforce those thoughts. And we have to flip and remember, what is it in spirit? In spirit, there can be no aggression. In spirit, there can be no harm. In spirit, nothing changes. And our belief needs to get there so that our vision happens.